Listen up, because what I'm about to tell you will shake you to your core. Most people have no idea how avoidants operate in relationships. They think it's about fear of commitment. Wrong. It's about control, power, survival. See, an avoidant doesn't fall in love by accident. They test you. They teach you through hell to see if you're safe. If you don't know these tests, you'll fail every single time, but today you're getting the codes. You're going to hack their system and flip the script out. Most people think love just happens. That it's this magical, effortless connection where two people meet, feel sparks, and ride off into the sunset. But if you've ever dealt with an avoidant, you know that's not how it works. Avoidants don't just fall. They don't just choose, they test. They put you through a mental, emotional obstacle course that most people don't even realize they're in. And if you don't know what's happening, if you don't understand the game being played, you're going to fail over and over again. You'll think something's wrong with you. You'll think, why do they keep pulling away? Why are they hot and cold? Why does it feel like I'm constantly walking on eggshells? But I'm telling you right now, this isn't about you not being enough. This isn't about you doing something wrong. This is their psychology. It's how they operate. See, an avoidant doesn't experience love the way you do. For them, getting close to someone isn't just emotional, it's a threat. It's a loss of control. It's vulnerability, and vulnerability feels like danger. So what do? They test the waters before they ever let themselves feel safe enough to let go. And these tests, they are brutal. They are unfair. They are designed to make sure you don't get too close too soon. Because the second they feel like you have power over their emotions, they panic. You ever notice how at first everything feels incredible? They're flirting, they're engaged, they're showing up, and you're thinking, wow, this is something special. And then out of nowhere, the shift happens. They start texting less. Their enthusiasm dips. They stop initiating. You go from feeling like you're the center of their world to feeling like you're barely on their radar. And what's your instinct? You try harder. You reach out more. You ask what's wrong. You try to bring back the energy that was once there. But guess what? That's what they want you to do. They're testing to see if you'll chase. They're seeing if you'll become anxious, if you'll start proving yourself, if you'll start shifting your energy to accommodate them. Because the moment you do, the power dynamic changes. They know they've got you. They know they can take a step back and you'll come running forward. And when that happens, the attraction starts to die. But if you know the game, if you understand what's happening, you don't chase, you don't react. You mirror their energy. You stay focused on your life, your purpose, your confidence. And when they pull away and see that you are still good, that's when they start to wonder about you. That's when they start to realize they might lose something valuable. And that is when the power shifts. Now, let's go deeper. Because avoidants don't just test by pulling away. No. They also push your buttons. They will criticize you over little things that don't even make sense. They'll act unimpressed when you share something exciting. They'll downplay your wins. They'll make subtle comments that plant seeds of self-doubt. And why? Because they want to see if you'll break, if you'll start to second guess yourself, if you'll start seeking their approval. And most people fail this test. They start adjusting. They start apologizing for things they shouldn't apologize for. They start trying to be more likable, more agreeable, more perfect. But what they don't realize is that the second you start doing that, the avoidant loses respect for you. Because deep down, they don't want someone who bends for them. They don't want someone they can manipulate. They want someone strong, someone who stands firm, someone who looks them dead in the eye and says, I am who I am. Take it or leave it. And that's exactly what you need to do. When they pull away, you hold your ground. When they test you, you don't break. When they criticize, you don't shrink. When they disappear, you keep moving, because that is what keeps you in the game. That is what makes them see you differently. Now, here's where most people get it wrong. They think if I just love them enough, if I just show them that I'm patient and understanding, they'll finally feel safe and open up to me. But let me tell you something, love alone doesn't work with an avoidant. You can't just pour love onto them and hope they'll wake up one day and say, wow, this person is amazing. I should stop running. No, that's not how it works. You have to show them that you are a challenge, that you are not here to play their games, that you are not someone who will wait around, chasing, begging, hoping they come around. Because when they see that you have standards, that you have boundaries, that you value yourself more than you value their inconsistency, that's when the tables turn. That's when they start feeling something they haven't felt in a long time, attraction. See, attraction isn't just about love. It's about respect. It's about feeling like someone is worth chasing. In avoidance, they don't chase people who are available 24/7. They don't crave people who are predictable and easy. They crave people who are secure, who are mysterious, who don't hand over their power just because they're afraid of losing someone. And if you're listening to this right now thinking, but I'm just a loving person, I just want to give, I just want to show them that I care, stop. That's beautiful, but it's not the move with an avoidant. The more you give without making them earn it, the less they value it. The more you chase, the more they run. The more you try to fix, the more broken the connection becomes. So what do? You become the kind of person they have to earn. You set the rules. You control the energy, make them step up, and if they don't, you walk, not as a tactic, not as a game, but because you genuinely refuse to be in a dynamic where you are undervalued. Because at the end of the day, the real test isn't about whether you can win them over. The real test is whether you will let yourself be played. And when you pass that test, when you show them that you are the one that should be afraid to lose, that's when everything changes. That's when they finally see you as the one worth holding on to. You ever notice how out of nowhere an avoidant will start picking you apart? One day everything's great. They're laughing with you, flirting, vibing. Then suddenly they're criticizing things that don't even matter. The way you dress, the way you laugh, the way you respond to a text, the way you load the dishwasher. The tiniest details, things that never seemed to bother them before now become issues. And you sit there thinking, what the hell just happened? What did I do wrong? Stop. This isn't about you doing something wrong. This is a testy. And if you don't know what's happening, you'll react the wrong way. You'll start questioning yourself. You'll start changing to please them. You'll start adjusting, thinking if I just fix this, maybe they'll stop pulling away. Maybe they'll finally accept me. But let me tell you something that is the exact moment you lose the game. Because avoidants don't do this on accident. They do it because they want to see if you'll break. If you'll lose yourself to fit into their world. If you'll give up your identity just to keep them close. And the second you do, the second you start modifying who you are to please them, they lose respect for you. And when respect is gone, attraction follows. But if you know the test is happening, you don't fall for it. When they criticize, you hold your frame. When they try to make you second guess yourself, you stand your ground. Because what they're really looking for, whether they realize it or not, is someone who won't bend. Someone who is so solid in themselves that no amount of testing, no amount of criticism, no amount of passive and nonsense will shake them. Think about it when someone starts nitpicking at you. What's your instinct? Most people go into fix-it mode. They want to please. They want to avoid conflict. So they start adjusting, trying to be more likable, more perfect, bearable, more perfect. And that's exactly what an avoidant does not want. They don't want someone they can mold. They don't want someone who just goes along with everything. They want someone who challenges them. Someone who says, this is who I am. If you don't like it, the door's right there. And that's where most people fail. They take the bait. They start walking on eggshells, afraid to upset the avoidant. They become cautious with their words, their actions, their personality, just to avoid being judged. But guess what? That only makes the avoidant feel more disconnected, more turned off. Because deep down, they don't want a yes person. They want someone they have to earn. So let's talk about the mindset you need to have when this test shows up. Because if you're dealing with an avoidant, I guarantee this will happen. The first thing you need to do, stay calm. You don't react emotionally. When they say something critical, you don't get defensive. You don't argue. You don't start explaining yourself. You smile. You look them dead in the eye and let them know their words don't shake you. Because if you can hold that frame, if you can stay unshaken, that is when the power shifts. Let's say they say something like, I don't really like how you always text so much. Most people would immediately start shrinking. They'd say, oh, I'm sorry, I'll text less. I didn't mean to annoy you, wrong move. That just shows them you're willing to change to please them. Instead, you say something like, that's just how I communicate. If it doesn't work for you, that's okay. Boom. Now you've put the ball in their court. You've not clear, you're not changing. You're not bending. And now they have to decide whether they can handle it. Or maybe they say, you're kind of intense sometimes. Instead of toning yourself down, instead of apologizing, you lean and you say, yeah, I am. That's who I am. Because the second they see that you OBUN who you are, the second they see that you're not going to shrink for them, something shifts inside them. They start realizing, damn, I can't shake this person. I can't control them. They're different. And that's what keeps an avoidant hooked. It's not you being softer, smaller, more accommodating. It's you being unapologetically yourself. Because here's the secret, avoidants don't actually want someone they can push around. That's why when they criticize, it's not because they want you to change. It's because they're testing to see if you'll change. And the people who deal fail the test, but the people who don't, the people who stay solid in themselves, those are the ones they can't forget. Now let's go even deeper, because the reality is an avoidant's biggest fear is vulnerability. They're terrified of being controlled, of losing themselves in another person. So they test you to see if you will become the controlling force in their life. They push, they pull, they criticize because they want to see how much influence they have over you. And if you let them dictate your actions, if you let their words shape how you see yourself, they know they've got power over you. And once they feel like they have power, they start to lose interest because now you're predictable. Now you're safe. And avoidants don't crave safety. They crave the unknown, the challenge, the person who doesn't let them dictate the energy. So how do you win this game? You become the rock they can't move. You become the one person in their life who doesn't break under pressure. When they criticize, you laugh. When they test, you pass. When they try to make you feel small, you remind them exactly who the hell you are. Because that is what shakes an avoidant to their core. That is what makes them sit up and think, wait a minute, this person is different. That is what makes them realize they're not the ones in control, you are. And when an avoidant realizes that you are the one setting the rules, you are the one they can't manipulate, you are the one they actually have to work to keep, that's when everything changes. That's when they start chasing you. You ever notice how just when you start feeling close to them, just when you think things are finally going somewhere, they drop a bomb? Maybe it's a comment about their ex. Maybe it's a flirtatious interaction with someone else right in front of you. Maybe it's a casual mention of someone who's so attractive, so interesting, so amazing. And you sit there thinking, what the hell? Where did that come from? Most people take this bait. They react. They get jealous. They try to prove their worth. They start over explaining why they're better than the ex, why they're the best option, why they should be chosen. And the second they do, game over. The avoidant has won, because that's exactly what they wanted to see if they have control over you. This is a testy, a calculated move to see if you will crumble. And the moment you show insecurity, the moment you get jealous, the moment you start fighting for their validation, they lose attraction. Because here's what most people don't realize. Avoidants don't do this because they want to lose you. They do this because they want to see if you're strong, if you're secure, if you can handle them being unpredictable, detached, distant. They want to know, can this person stay grounded even when I throw chaos at them? And if the answer is no, if you freak out, if you cling, if you try to compete, you fail. But if you know the game, you stay unfazed. When they bring up their ex, you don't flinch. When they flirt with someone else, you don't react. When they try to make you feel like you have competition, you don't play the game. Instead, you smile, you stay cool, you let them see that you are the prize, and you don't fight for anyone's attention. Let me tell you something. When an avoidant tries to trigger jealousy in you, they are secretly hoping you'll rise above it. They want to feel like they're with someone unshakable, someone who doesn't get thrown off by their antics. Someone who isn't so desperate to be chosen that they lose their composure. So when they say, my ex used to do this thing that I really like, don't take the bait. Instead of getting defensive, you hit them with, that's cool, good for them, and move on. When they flirt with someone in front of you, you don't shrink, you lean back and enjoy your own presence. When they name drop someone they admire, instead of competing, you say they sound great and go right back to living your life. And let me tell you, that drives them crazy, because suddenly they realize, wait a minute, this person isn't affected. They're not desperate. They're not trying to win me over. Why? And now you are the mystery, you are the challenge. In avoidance, they chase what they can't control. See, most people think the way to keep someone's attention is to prove their worth, to show they're the best choice. But avoidants don't fall for that. They don't care how good you are, how perfect you seem, how much better you are than their ex. What they care about is whether they feel drawn to you, whether they feel like they have to work to keep you. And if you fail this test, if you start competing for their approval, they categorize you as safe, as predictable, as someone they don't need to chase. And the moment that happens, their attraction fades. But if you pass this test, if you show them that you're not bothered, that you know your worth, that you're not playing their game, that's when the dynamic flips. That's when they start realizing, damn, this person is different. This person isn't like the others. This person doesn't need me, they choose me. And that is what makes them addicted. Because now, instead of you trying to prove yourself to them, they start feeling like they need to prove themselves to you. They start wondering if they are enough for you. They start questioning whether they have what it takes to keep you interested. And let me tell you, there is nothing more powerful than flipping that switch in an avoidant's mind. Nothing more powerful than making them feel like they are the ones who have something to lose. So the next time they try to make you jealous, the next time they test you with another name, another flirtation, another little dig to see if you'll react, don't tee. Stay calm. Stay grounded. Stay in your power. And watch them start chasing you that most people don't even realize it's happening. They don't see the trap being set. One day, everything is great. The connection is electric. The conversations flow. The chemistry is undeniable. And then all of a sudden, you start feeling like you have to earn their attention. Like you have to prove yourself to keep them interested. It's subtle at first. Maybe they stop texting as much. Maybe they seem a little less excited to see you. Maybe they stop complimenting you the way they used to. And in your mind, alarm bells go off. You start thinking, did I do something wrong? Did I say something that turned them off? Am I not enough? And that is exactly where they want you. Because the second you start questioning yourself, the second you start trying to win them over, you've already lost. Avoidants don't pull away because they don't like you. They pull away because they're testing you. They want to see how much power they have. They want to see if you'll start chasing, if you'll start bending, if you'll start working overtime to keep their interest. And let me tell you, if you fall into that trap, if you start proving yourself, if you start seeking their validation, you just failed the biggest test of all. Because attraction isn't about proving yourself. It's about value. It's about respect. And the second they feel like you're working to be good enough for them, the second they feel like you're trying too hard, their attraction starts to die. Most people don't understand this. Most people think if I just show them how much I care, if I just put in more effort, if I just make them see how good we are together, they'll finally open up. But that's not how avoidants work. The more you prove, the less they respect you. The more you chase, the less they value you. The more you try to make them see your worth, the less they feel it. Because here's the truth. Avoidants don't want someone they can control. They don't want someone who bends. They don't want someone who changes just to fit into their world. They want someone strong, someone who stands their ground, someone who makes them prove their worth. And if you don't flip this dynamic, if you don't shift the power, you'll spend the entire relationship trying to convince them to love you. And that's a losing game. Think about it. Who do you respect more? The person who keeps trying to impress you, who keeps seeking your approval, who keeps bending over backward just to be liked? Or the person who is confident in themselves, who knows their worth, who isn't afraid to walk away if they're not treated right? You respect the one who doesn't need you, the one who chooses you but doesn't rely on you for their happiness, the one who says, this is who I am, take it or leave it. And that's exactly what an avoidant respects too. So the next time they start making you feel like you have to prove something, stop. The next time you feel the urge to chase, to over-explain, to seek reassurance, don't. Instead, step back. Shift your energy. Act as if you are the prize, because you are. And when they see that you're not playing the game,